Bro, what are you doing,
Bro,
man?
I'm tired, man. I just came from the football game, bro. Oh man,
How?
we had time. I'm tired, bro. I gotta lay here,
Bro,
man.
you know we got an interview with Christie Shinn, you know, for a book, Demon Bitch, that she been doing for a while, man. It's a dope book. And she do the
Demon
whole
what?
artwork and everything.
Bro, I don't even know, man. It sounds crazy. I don't
Bro,
know.
she made these characters and events in the book based off stuff that just pisses off, man. You gotta hear it, bro. But you lay in the bed.
Everything sounds dope and all, bro, but I can't get up, bro.
Bro,
I'm
you know what?
so
I don't want to hear it at this point, bro.
all that, bro.
I can go back
I
over
just
there,
can't do it, bro.
this interview,
I just can't do it.
like I always do, and you just sleep whatever you have going on, man. Just sleep it off, bro. I got it, bro. I got it. Cool, whatever, man.
I don't know why you even gotta be like that, bro, but alright, man. Appreciate it. I'm back to sleep.
All right, welcome back to the hood. This is Chill in the Green Box with Specs Thompson interview, and my co-host. This time I just couldn't get him out of bed. He said he's just too tired, it's too early. He was at some football game with his friends last night. I don't know, just teenager stuff. But I'm here, and I guess it's here. And thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really enjoying it.
All right. For people who don't know who you is, give them like a brief introduction of who you are.
Well, my name is Christie Shinn. I'm based in Los Angeles, California. I am a Ringo Award-winning artist for the anthology of Mind Plant Parenthood, which I have here. So the Mike Wine Ringo Award. And I won an award for that, and I currently do a comic called Demon Bitch. And who Demon Bitch is that she's a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell where people throw their dog shit and gum wrappers. She wants to bring the second coming of Armageddon, but the first one never happened because she's stupid as hell. It's supposed to be a petty as fuck cartoon about people I don't like and situations I hate. And also
Okay.
president of CAPS, the Comic Art Professional Society. And I help run an organization of comic artists and creators that basically it's a network for them in the local area and in domestically to, get them access to shows. I mean, like just basically I'll find shows, or some of us will find shows that, hey, here's this event, we should go there. Because even in the age of social media, we still need to talk to our fans as personally as possible. So we need to do that. Another thing too is that we are going with, we also like do events, like we participate in the LA Maker Faire with STEM, and we still have an ongoing relationship with them. And we also just make contributions, like try to do fundraisers. We're getting back into fundraisers. We're still getting out of post-COVID mode. So I've been kicking them out for that to get that going and getting us into shows and having better ties with showrunners. So we have more of an opportunity to showcase our work. We sometimes have booths like at San Diego Comic-Con, at WonderCon, to like, hey, this is what we're doing. And providing, not actually providing the legal service, but access to legal services or links with special discounts if we can provide them, links to advertisement and links to distribution.
Oh, that's real dope. That's real dope.
Yeah.
We'll definitely we'll go in that a little bit later on, because I'm interested in myself. But since you're on the West Coast, majority of my guests that's on that side of the United States are not familiar with the green box. But are you familiar with the electrical green boxes in front of the neighborhoods?
I actually have not heard of it, but please don't take offense, because really, literally, the thing is, like, I started off as an artist and I'm a writer, and yes, I am social. You'll probably see my social media. If you've seen my Facebook, like, I'm out, but sometimes, like, literally when I'm not out, like, meaning like events and things, I'm like in, like, I like to go have a quiet coffee, work on my stuff, probably draw some shit up that will scandalize people. Maybe occasionally do social media posts because I have to, and I talk with my friends online and stuff. So it's not like, I'm actually, funny enough, they call me Demon Bitch, which is hilarious because nobody then screws with me at cons or something. I don't know. I don't get the issues, but it's like when I'm not Demon Bitch, I just kind of hang out, it's like, I just do my stuff at home. I have 2 cats, I love cooking, things like that. So it's not like I'm all over the place. And no, I don't have this super ultra glamorous lifestyle where I attend burlesque shows all the time or anything. I do not have objection to one. I'm like.
Okay. Well, so you get the reference. So I think it's a Southern thing. Some more East Coast. I'm in Georgia. So most East Coast people, some of them had, some of them didn't. But I know it's like more of the Southern states did. Where they're just green electrical boxes that's set in front of neighborhoods.
I think I know what we have those too, but we paint them. They're like this thing that stands alone, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
the ones they start painting it here for some reason too. But uh, those those are the electrical boxes. But there's some they're shorter that as kids we kind of thought those like benches that you sit on. Was talking with some guests, that I realized that we sat on those and hung out around those because typically they'd be like the bus stops or whatever for us as kids. So we there anyway, hanging out on them. So at the end of like the weekends or after school, we go to that same spot, hang out, chill with your friends. So
Hmm.
I came up with the show to be just like that. You just hanging out and talking, breaking down
Oh,
concepts
okay.
and different things, with different creators and people who, out here doing things. So with that being said, my first segment of the show is called Breaking It Down. It's because when you're sitting on the green bus, you're breaking things down like concepts and other things with your friends. So I got a couple of icebreaker questions for you, so
Sure.
I can break your brain down so people know more about you.
All right. People have gotten scared about that.
Well, they're random questions, and ironically, two of my questions they like tie into each other kind of. So that's the first time that ever happened. But um, first question is, who was your favorite teacher and why?
Oh God. That's that's been a while ago. I remember my freshman teacher, Mr. Hansen. He was a real cool guy. I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another guy, I forgot his name, but he had a really fucked up sense of humor. And let me just tell you what one of them is. And I forgot what his name was, but he was like kind of this quiet, grumpy, like kind of looking guy. And he like very had much of a deadpan voice, but he like had a really messed up sense of humor. Like literally, he would carry a box and it was kind of taped over,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd probably like have maybe a stuffed animal or two inside, right? So he'd be carrying it, and all of a sudden, and it says "free kittens," and I said, "Oh," and I love cats. I said, "Oh, let me pet one." And he dropped it. But I mean, like, at first I was like, but then I started laughing because obviously there's no kittens. Like you would be hearing noises like, like I know how kittens are. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just like the devilishness of that was funny as hell. Like I know nowadays everybody's like, "That's terrible. You're inciting violence against kittens." I'm like, no, it was a fucking fucked up joke. Like, come on. It's like he put a stuffed animal in there so it kind of looked convincing enough, but really, you'd see him crawling around. Because if you ever owned a kitten, like they're active as hell.
Yeah.
It's like a toddler. They'll like run around and they'll like that. But they're it's like they're going to be noticeable. It's not going to be like, oh, I mean, unless if they're really messed up, like if they're weak or malnourished or otherwise close to death, they're very
Then he
active little creatures.
then he dropped them and killed them all, right?
No. Yeah, that did it the first time. I mean, now Pete is going to go after me for saying that, but yeah.
All right. My next question. This is like I say, kind of ties into each other, but it may not. But who was the last person that you felt inspired by?
Well, there's a lot of people. Mm. And I would say sometimes it's incrementally because I meet them in situations. It's not necessarily like really famous people. It's weird because if people are like, oh, Frida Kahlo or this. I mean, I like them. They're very artistic. They're very good at what they do. And on some level, I admire them. But I think it's just some of the people that I've met personally in life, just day to day, that kind of reflect back the good that you do for them. And I, and I know that sounds egotistical, but this is what I mean. Like, you tell a person, hey, this happened to me and this is what I did. And it's like a really fucked up situation, but somehow like you come out of it great. And you tell them like, just, you tell the person, keep believing, keep going forward, keep focusing on what you want, because that's what helps. That's what helped me. Like I had a very bad medical scare regarding my pancreas years ago. And sorry, that's my Windows 10. I hate it very much. But anyway, so like I told this person, and I'm not going to disclose their name because they've asked for privacy, but like one person came over and then they told me about their kid, and their kid, they were worried about a brain tumor or something. It was serious, like a brain tumor or something, and they're scared about it. And then I said, well, look, I understand. I've had a pancreatic tumor, and that's not really great. But and the odds to me like were 90 something that was going to be malignant, and that 3 to 5% that it was precancerous. It turned out to be at the other end. And somehow that pointed me when they told me they think it might have been cancer. I said, I will not have fucking cancer. I mean, I still went to the hospital and everything and got it taken care of, but I focused on getting better. And then they told me, oh, you're going to be diabetic. And I'm like, fuck being diabetic. I'm not going to be diabetic. Just somehow inside of me. And I focused on not being diabetic, and I'm not. I mean, when you focus on things that you want, it's not like, oh, I'm just magically going to go there. It's just somehow you pick a life path. I see it as like choose your own adventure. You pick it and then you see what's there to help you or not. And you could choose to pick it up or not. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like there's like a lot of schools like, oh, it's like law of assumption or law of this. And those are nice. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying like when you break it down, it's like making decision, focusing on it, not concerning how it's going to happen. I think people get caught up on the how, and then they don't see the other things that would otherwise work. Well, it turned out he reached out to me months later. I said, by the way, I just want to let you know you really helped a lot, because it turned out to be not anything. It's a brain tumor too. And I think it was easily removable. But I think my heroes are the ones that are people that are willing to take a moment, even though it looks like shit, and focus on what they really want. And then they go for it. They have that courage to go for it. And, you know, I mean, we always know sometimes like, oh yeah, they can hope and wish and everything and people will die. It's like, okay, while you're alive, you have a chance. You might as well take it. And I don't know all the life path, like decision that people made where they hoped and they ended up dying anyway. That's not for me to judge. There could be a lot of things. They could have wavered. They could have not made the right decision. They could have just given up. You don't know every bit of their mind when they've gone through it. And I don't even know if that any of those things happen too. But for the people that made it, that's the mindset that you take, is that you take that thing and you move forward, even though it looks like total bullshit in your world or reality, and you just focus on it and go for it. And somehow you get there. It's like they always say, like, don't always focus on the how, and don't always try to force things, but you can do inspired action. Like if something just tells you, you should probably go in here, follow it. You know, if you feel good about it intuitively. I mean, that's how I lived a lot of my life. I would say, as I said, with heroes, it's like I kind of meet them every day, or what they inspire me. I think people, when they inspire me, they reflect on me that maybe I'm doing something right. And I'm doing something good. Like a lot of times, like people were saying to me, oh, don't do demon bitch. You should just get over your anger. Don't do personal monsters. Just get over your anger. And when I did do it, a lot of people are coming to me like they just went to a fucking confessional and said, I can't believe that thing speaks to me. Even though it was a stupid, pissed off comic. Like I really literally treated it that way. I was just like, I'm just drawing this and I'm laughing like an asshole. But it turns out to be more profound than what people make it out to be. Like what I thought it would ever be. People have made it out to be super profound. Like, oh, it's just this. Like, I'll just draw something about stupid shit that this person I saw do, or this kind of personality type. But they're like, that's really smart that you did that. That's really cool. And they actually find, it's not like, oh, I'm mad and it just taps into this rage. It's like, I've been mad this way and no one else has expressed it but you. That type of stuff.
Okay. All right. That's dope. My last question: what are some useless facts that you know?
Well, there's a lot of facts that I know. I think well, I will tell you, Sergio Aragonés is born on the same day I was. We're both born on September 6th. That's like the only one thing I'm pretty sure I know many more. But like, yeah, it's like Sergio Aragonés and I have the same birthday.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird because like I said, oh, I wonder what, like just something in me was like, oh, let me go and check out his birthday. And I checked it. Like something told me to look at his wiki thing, and it's like born September 6th. Now, obviously, I'm not how old ever he is, but it's like that was funny.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's the end of. I don't have no useless fact. I mean, I guess I do, but you don't really know they're useless unless somebody can't use it. So I don't know if I have.
Oh, I have one that's actually kind of funny and ironic. We were laughing at. I mean, I don't want to interrupt you. I'm just saying that one came to mind. When that whole ferry boat thing where they got into a brawl and everything, and with a folding chair and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I looked at it, and like my friend looked it up as like, oh shit. we were laughing because it was patented by a black man. I'm like, well, there you go. You know,
Hey, it
I
was?
believe they're laughing.
Did,
Yeah, we
did,
were laughing
did,
our asses off. And the name of the ferry, it was just like this whole list of like comedic gold right here. It's like,
oh,
man,
man.
it's just funny.
All right. Well, that's in that segment, you know. People got a good little brief introduction of who you is a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
We're gonna go on my next segment, which is called the back issues. And of course,
Yeah.
being the comics, you know all about the back issues. So, for people who don't know, if you want to go find out about a character's origin story, you know, you go back to their back issues. So if you want to find out about, I don't know, Red Sonja, you go into her back issues to find more about her origin story. So
Yeah.
in this segment, we're going to go on your back issues to find out more about your origin story.
Okay. Yeah,
All right.
I was born in Chicago and I moved when I was little to the Bay Area. So I like moved to Hayward, then Silicon Valley. So I'm kind of, I guess, part hood and part bougie. So that's like blue collar / like super bougie area. And then
Mm-hmm.
I made my way down. I went to Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara, and then I made my way down and actually ended up in LA like 12 years ago. And I actually
So
do like it in LA. Like people say LA is this and LA is that. It's like, well, okay, there's a certain culture in LA, but if you scratch beneath the surface, there's actually a pretty decent bunch of people in LA. All the assholes just kind of rise to the top.
when I was in LA, I mean, I never lived in LA. I've been there, but I didn't like it. I really didn't like LA. It felt like this groomy and eerie. I just had this eerie feeling when I was there, and I just didn't like it. Like it just
Where'd
didn't
you
feel
go?
good.
Where'd
I
you
was in
go?
LA. I mean,
LA? Like the
yeah,
city
like
itself.
yeah, we went to the Hollywood Boulevard. Then we went to
Oh,
Roscoe Chicken and Waffles. Then we went
no, no,
to
no, no, no. I tell people when I bring them there, it's like, yeah, we can do some of the tourist shit, but honestly, go to the other parts of LA. There's like San Gabriel Valley where Alhambra, South Pasadena, and all this other shit is going on.
hmm
And then it's like this whole it's like this great plethora of like Chinese and Vietnamese food, like even better than the downtown Chinatown, you
Yeah,
know.
so I didn't even see Chinatown, none of the Asian stuff. So I didn't even see that part because we
Yeah.
was only there for like maybe 2 days or a day and a half, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the tourist stuff, I mean, I get it, but honestly, if you go to other parts of Los Angeles, there's nice parts of Los Angeles that aren't like if you go to Huntington Park or the Huntington Park, they have a nice tea time, and that's in Pasadena. So if you go to Pasadena, there's like little things that you go to. Like if you go to the mansion, I mean, okay, fine, go there, like for the Hollywood shit, whatever. But in reality, a lot of people in LA kind of don't want to be there unless it's there for work, like because it's just so filled with tourists and stuff, and it's just like there's like crackheads and like homeless people there, and we have a particularly nasty set of homeless in California that I can attest to. I mean, I've been nearly assaulted and sexually harassed, and like California homeless are dicks. Like if I go anywhere else, like in the Midwest to the South, there aren't that many. They're actually more polite and nicer and cleaner. Like the LA,
I don't know.
the,
I don't know. I got a hobo camp right next to my house right now, so I don't know
yeah,
how clean it is.
I'm telling you, LA's got a lot. Bay Area and LA's got a lot of nasty, nasty homeless people. And people go like, oh, I mean, it's funny nowadays in California, even saying I hate homeless people, they're like, because they agree. Because I don't know what it is, but like our brand of home, I don't know if it's like the super East Coast, like in New York City and LA and San Francisco, but they're mean. They're mean
well,
homeless. Yeah.
I know y'all homeless people get paid to be homeless.
Yeah, well, they get SSI and shit. Yeah, it kind of
Yeah,
sucks, you know.
yeah. The ones here don't get paid. They just broke
They just bum
begging.
around. They just bum
Yeah,
around. Like my
yeah.
friend Lauren, he does Real Deal Comics, and we make jokes about it too. And he said, yeah, there's a bum like kind of around where he lives. And I said, oh, the Bum Night of Bummington, because I saw that off like a Let's Play or something. And he
hmm
said, yep, the Bum Night of Bummington with all his bum shit and his bum hotel. So it's actually kind of like a running joke in California because we have so much homeless. It's like,
Um, I'm 2 hours away from Atlanta. I'm in a place called Augusta.
mhm.
Um, Literally during the summertime, Atlanta gave a whole bunch of homeless people a bus ticket and a hot meal and sent them like a whole bunch of them to Augusta. So we have like an influx of homeless people here because Atlanta gave all these people a bus ticket and a hot meal to come down here.
Yeah, it's kind of like that in California. It's like, oh, come here, we'll like let the homeless in. It's like, that's great. How are we going to take care of them? Because we
Yeah.
kind of don't. Because like a lot of the homeless here, like a lot of them are mentally ill, and a lot of them are drug addicts. And
Mhm.
before anybody goes and says I hate both, I said no. Like sometimes people, I have friends that are very severely mentally ill. Like I have a friend that's like paranoid schizophrenic. He lives a very like productive life. But as I said, and like I have friends that used to be ex drug addicts, like, but there just are some people that are just pieces of shit and they end up on the street.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, and
Alright.
a lot of the homeless that I ran into here are not good people. The majority of them are not. They're very vicious, very mean, feral people.
What made you stay in California or LA versus like going back to Chicago or anything like that?
Well, I moved when I was a few years old. And for me, I think it's weird because I don't have beachfront property, but I like being near the ocean. For me, I feel like more free if there's a body of ocean. I was raised primarily kind of near an ocean because even though Hayward's not properly in San Francisco, it was a short drive, like maybe an hour. I think it was probably like not that far actually, like 30 minutes or something. And we would drive over there and we'd go to San Francisco. I have fond memories of San Francisco. So it's like it wasn't the warm beaches; it was more of the very cold. But we'd eat the Dungeness crab there. I mean, it wasn't all the time, but we go to Pier 39. We'd eat the Dungeness crab. They had these really cool like bread bowls, but they were filled with like something really like savory or something. Not to the top, but they were just glazed over with jam or something. That was real nice. Like I like them better than funnel cakes because I don't know what it is. You go to a fair and you eat a funnel cake at the wrong time of day, and it's like gross because the oil's so
Yeah.
dirty. And you're like,
Yeah.
it's just too much oil. Like, but I like my greasy stuff, which is weird. Like I can eat fries and I'll like have prime rib and shit. I like that, but it's just, I don't know about like bread and super greasy. It has like something else has to be the super greasy, like the cheese or the meat, but just like the bread itself, it's like that.
Yeah.
But I like fried stuff. It's weird. But yeah, like I like those. Those were fried. I like just the fact the culture of California in general. I do like in NorCal, and then when I moved down to SoCal, like LA, even though at first, and I kind of probably that's where I probably drew personal monsters because I didn't live in LA for that long of a period of time. So it was kind of funny because like Matt Groening, who does The Simpsons now, he actually did Life in Hell soon after he moved to LA. So I guess it's a thing. It's like he wrote Life in Hell and all the shit that happens in LA. And he got into the LA Weekly. Then he got famous and got a show, The Simpsons, and now it's gotten into Futurama and Disenchanted. So it's like that guy's fine. So it's like I get, and I used to read Matt Groening when I was little. So I think maybe I will follow in that footsteps or probably along that life path with Demon Bitch.
Okay. Do you listen to music?
I do, but I'm weird about that too because it's like I listen to one song on repeat, especially when I'm creating because I'm in that mode.
Okay. Well, what music genre or what song or artist got you enjoying music or got you interested in music?
It really depends on my mood, and it doesn't necessarily need to be like I'm depressive or I'm in a bad mood or anything. It's just in a mood, like in a sort of vibe. So like if I feel like I'm in kind of a dark vibe, of course I'll pick like bands like Disturbed, Black Veil Brides. Tool is actually kind of cool because even though I like the really heavy metal and shit like that, with Tool it's almost like meditation music for metalheads.
Oh.
So if you actually listen to a Tool album and watch their video, you'll get what the hell I'm talking about. So I advise you, man, go and watch a Tool video.
Yeah, I never seen a video, but I have heard Tool and listened to music, but I haven't seen a music video of it. So I go look at a music video.
Look at the like with Sober and Prison Sex, that's like crazy. And then they're later, like I went to one of their concerts years ago, and it's like literally you're sitting there and you're just watching this like video as they're performing, and they perform well. And I saw them at this now Crypto Center, but it was the Staples Center then, and they were just playing and they were just rocking out, and it was so funny because it was just they were just good at what they did. And I saw Rammstein. Rammstein is good. So if you want scary heavy metal German music, there you go. Industrial German music. I went to their concert like I think a few months ago, and it was really good. Like the pyrotechnics and everything. That fucker for like 60 years old, he can move. So I never want to like I'm Gen X, so I never want to hear anybody say I'm fucking like I'm too old and shit. Like go fuck off. We look a lot better. Like,
Alright.
I met one dude that was 60. I thought he was 50.
Yeah, I used to work with a guy. He was 72 years old. If you looked at him, you thought he was like 55.
Yeah.
Maybe he can get 48. But
Yeah. British
he
dude
just
too. I
lived
met a
good.
British
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was like I met a British dude that was 70 and he looked 50. He's like, no, here's my driver's license. And his name was
Yeah.
Monty, and he had a devilish sense of humor.
Well, this guy, he was I guess I don't know. So his grandma was one of the Indians that was originally in America. Then America kicked all them out. Then they became Mexicans. So technically,
Oh,
yeah. So he's one of
which tribe it was. Like, was it the Yaqui? I know there's a few in Mexico, and I'm probably wrong. Like there was the Yaqui, and then there were a few other ones. I don't know
I
all of
can't.
them.
Yeah, I never asked him what tribe he was from, but he said his grandma's just part of that. So he looked like a Machete a little bit, but looked a lot younger than Machete. Even though Machete's probably younger than him, but he looked younger than Machete. But he was like 72, and when I met him, he had like a 15-year-old daughter. So
well, he got busy.
yeah. So yeah, he surprised me. He still rode his Harley motorcycle out and all kind of stuff. So he was pretty cool dude. He was from LA. Not yeah, he was from California. He did a lot of stuff. Yeah, he came out here and I guess fell in love with Georgia. But
I mean, like, hey, you go where you need to go, and it doesn't necessarily mean where you're born at, right? I would have. It's funny because my parents moved. It's funny, my parents are from Korea, and Korea can get really horribly bad winters. It's like minus whatever it gets, and they go there and they say, hey, so they go there, and what was it? So that when they moved to Chicago, they're like, fuck this is too cold. They left. It was even too cold for them, so they wanted to move to California. But I actually do love California. It's like I've never really wanted to move because I've been to other places, but it never felt great. Like it was good to visit. Like if I went to Austin, I could stay there for a few days to a week. That's cool. Like I would stay there and hang out with friends and have a different thing. But it's never quite home to me. Okay. California is more home to me, either NorCal or SoCal. And I think it's kind of interesting. I'm more of SoCal now because even though people say whatever shit they say about LA, it's actually a freer vibe. It's more of a diverse vibe. Because like we'll make fucking jokes about each other like all the fucking time. Like my friends live out in Southgate, and we'll make fucking jokes like you wouldn't believe. Like we saw a dude like riding a bike and throwing signs. My friend that lives there, we were in the car, and this dude was just rolling around throwing up signs everywhere. And I said, "What the fuck is he?" Because he was making these weird little hand gestures. I was like, "What the fuck is he doing?" He said, "Oh, that stupid fucker is like throwing signs, man." And he says, like, yeah, I bet you these fuckers will come up and they'll like hit him. He's so stupid. He's going to get hit with a car. Like some people will just like fucking hit him with a car and jump him and shit. And like, I was just laughing and shit.
Dang. Hey, but it's LA, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, now it's like my friends who are Mexican, they're like how they say fucker. I'm picking that up. Like, all right, fucker. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Next question. Comic books. What comic book related TV show or comic book got you into comics?
Ooh, that's a lot. I just read them because I was curious. I read this, but not for the reason people think. And I was a kid, like, I mean, obviously I was exposed to comics because of strip, right? The comic strips. Also, my parents had the Korean paper, which had comics. And it was just this whole thing of like very mature adult material. I mean, they weren't really screwing on screen, but it was like, oh, naked chicks and violence and death and shit. But it kind of, I think,
Asian stuff, right?
Yeah, like the crazy shit. And then I would go to my my cousin's home, and in Korea, and like they'd had all this manga, like stuff like this, and they gave me some right here. This is all fucked up, but this is like Baksadong. He like has this really fucking sense of drawing and all that. So he's pretty it's pretty crazy. Like, so they would draw Demented at that, because now people think manhwa is like all pretty with hot guys and girls, and they did have some of that, but most of the time it was like weird silly shit like this. So I read it and be like kind of surprised at some of the cultural inferences, because like I'd open up the comic and they would have their kind of thing of Shonen Jump. I don't know the name of it, right? But like those serials, right? So I'd open it up And like one of the things that and I just realized how American I was compared to them, because one of the ones was like one of the heroes had this crown. I will like elaborate this guy's Buddhist, right? So the Buddhists, like, they kind of have their own swastika, it looks like what Hitler put up, but it's not, because it's kind of what Hitler did to it. It was like the inversion of the cross, because he does it at an angle where it's like a square. And I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying, they were coming from that angle, but one of the guys had that. And I'm like, why does this have this in there? And then I read up on it. It's like actually a Buddhist symbol. Like how he had it was the Buddhist symbol, but it was like, they were all like magical, powerful people. And he had his like, beads and stuff like that. But it is what it is. It was kind of cool. And I was laughing. I was like going, what the fuck is this? And I just started laughing, not because I found it funny, but it was just so shocking. But I think I appreciate humor where like somebody puts something in there and you start laughing because it's shocking. Like if you look at Johnny Ryan, where he did this, I don't know how, like, but he draws the worst shit ever, but it's funny as hell. But it's Johnny Ryan. Yeah, and he's like the most quietest guy ever, and he's not a fucked up person. He says, yeah, okay, cool. Like that. And he draws the most fucked up shit ever. But like stuff like that, like stuff in Korea versus America. Like I kind of was familiar with the Korean culture because I was raised with it, in a sense, with my parents. But, I'm in America. So, you get the American culture obviously coming in, you can't avoid it. But then when I went to Korea, it was like this whole other thing. Like I was sitting down watching TV at one time when the Barcelona Olympics were happening. I was watching it. And then all of a sudden it's like, UV white, look at how pale my skin is. I'm like, in Korea. And I was like, what? Because like over here, it's like suntan lotion, wear sunblock, suntan, not like, let's lighten our skin. I'm like, what? And that's when I kind of found out like the colorism in Korea. So, but I know it was about comic books. I'm just letting you know how profoundly this cool. Was like this thing. And then I started getting into anime. So I got into manga and stuff. So Dirty Pair was one of them. I also got into X-Men, and X-Men was, and on Teen Titans, I started getting into that. And what kind of got me started reading Teen Titans, and it wasn't because of TNA, but it kind of was, back in the day, they would have them on spinner racks. And I think George Perez was illustrating at the time, if this dates me. So like they were on spinner racks, and like it said Teen Titans. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me open it up. And I opened it up, and there is Coriander's butt in my face. So I'm like, and she was with Dick, and they just did it. And I'm like, what is this? And it was weird, because that's when they drew her like all super sexy and shit. Now they draw her, because they've aged her down, more age appropriate. Like she's supposed to be like 14, 16. So they don't draw her like a hoe.
No, she's back aged up.
Yeah, now like they kind of vary. Like for Teen Titans on some of the animated series, they kind of age her down, so she's 14.
Oh yeah, animated, but on the comics, she's still up. Like
the comics, they aged her up at 21, and so I've seen the variation of the crop top to, but they don't do like the huge tits so much anymore. It's like sort of like, yeah, we have to be more natural. Like okay, like. But at the time of George Perez, how he drew her, how he drew her, it's like, fuck, And it's like I read that. I would read stuff like that on the spinner rack. So it's like I read a wide range of comics when I was little. And then my parents decided to say, oh, we're taking you to Stanford, because they wanted me to be a doctor and a lawyer and be into an Ivy school, which didn't fucking happen. And they took me there and said, look, there's all, like, let's go and do a tour. See, isn't Stanford pretty when you go here? And then I went into the comic book store. And to the bookstore, the student bookstore, right? And they'll sell all sorts of books, right? They'll sell the textbooks, and then they'll sell the art supplies, and they'll sell the other thing. And I open it up, and I like find the underground comics. So I open it up, I'm like that. So that's when I picked up Life in Hell and read a lot of other shit like Jimbo. Like I didn't understand it, but it was so demented and so weird that I really liked it. And the subject matter was, and like how they wrote stuff, it was just so strange and like not formulaic in that sense, but it was funny. So that's what got me to really love underground comics. But I didn't follow it so much to a point until when I was about to hit college, and right before, a boyfriend at the time introduced me to Love and Rockets. And that's when I really started getting into the indie scene. And like I worked at a comic store, and that's when kind of Image and all those guys got big. So I read them, but I also read Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it's kind of funny because I read them as a kid in the comic books, right? And then when the cartoon came out, I was like, why is she like a fucking red-haired white lady? I don't get this. She looks like Jennifer Beals in like the fucking comic. And then now they're like, oh, we're making her black. I said, she still doesn't look like what she fucking looks like in the comic. Just make her in the comic. Jeez, you know, because she had like Jennifer Beals, she looks good. So fucking like just cast Jennifer Beals because that bitch is ageless anyway. So.
All right. Oh, you said something. Oh, so I'm gonna ask you this question, then I'll go with my regular questions. But so saying how you visit to Korea and talk to your cousins not being Korean, did you relate to like the show like Fresh Off the Boat and like these other Asian comedians? Because it feel like y'all went through the same thing almost.
Well, it's kind of funny because I haven't really watched a lot of TV. I'm not really into TV. I'm not saying I hate TV. It's not in my like. For me, it's like TV's more distracting just because like since I create, it kind of messes with that part of me where it has to focus on creating, if that makes sense.
It does.
So for me, I don't really watch TV, but I'll watch fucking Korean cat videos or stupid shit. Like I'll watch like self-help videos and stuff because there's a way that because like I think my brain just doesn't like to process wasteful information. Like I can't just sit down and just blank out. It's just not part of me. Like the only time I blank out is when I sleep. It's weird. My brain is really, yeah.
See, I don't watch much TV, but I do like catch stuff like I'm supposed to watch apparently I watch all the Disney Plus stuff that comes out, all the Marvel and Star Wars, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the Ahsoka show, watching that now, it's out. I never watched Clone Wars, so now I'm like going through Clone Wars and trying to finish that before the series ends. And like when I watch stuff like that, yes, I know I'm watching, I'm entertained, whatever. But I see stuff in the show, and I'd be like, "Oh, that'd be a good thing. I can take that little piece there and twist it up and make it my own." Like I take little things like that. Just I guess because I'm a creator and I do it. I like pick things out of how they wrote this character, did that. I'm like, okay, I can put a little twist on it and put it in my stories and do like that. Like I do that a lot, and so I try not to watch much TV because it just keep my mind just going and going and going. So I'm like, let me stop here and write down this real quick.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like I used to watch some TV as a kid. Like I would watch Transformers, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, you know, whatever. You know, it is what it is. Like it's like now, like I've watched samples of the show, the reiterations of the new shows, and I'm like, okay, the writing's actually fucking good and shit. So, hey. You know, it's like all the kids that grew up on this shit went, you know, we liked it, but it was kind of fucking bland. Let's actually make it more exciting. You know, and I appreciate cartoon shows that actually bring up subject matter that's actually otherwise would probably be inappropriate, but they put it kid friendly. Like Steven Universe was good. I thought Steven Universe was great because it taught like value and friendship and all this stuff, but people are human, like even though they're gems, you know. But at the same time, like there was this really fucked up fandom that like ganged up on this one artist because she drew one of the characters that they felt was too skinny. Like she just drew a little thinner, but they were like, "Oh, you're fat shaming her," and this poor girl almost committed suicide. And even Rebecca Sugar, I'll have to give her credit. That's the creator of Steven Universe. Is like, I will fucking stop Steven Universe if you continue with this shit. Like she was really upset, and I got to give that to her. You know, I got to give that to her. That was cool of her to do. But yeah, like I mean, like. In Steven Universe, what I liked it is like they didn't feature the gay couple as the gay couple. They just had a relationship, and it's like, oh, okay, they formed Garnet. This is awesome. And it wasn't like, hey, look at this Asian character. Let's look at this black character. Let's look at this Latino character, or whatever. It's like I just liked it that they just put people together, and that was it.
Yeah, to bring up 2 points you said. Voltron. That's probably a show you watched back in the day.
Yeah.
Watching that. You know, like you said, you thought it was cool, but the story didn't make sense because they jumbled all the episodes up, so it don't match. Like one day you got Shiro being the leader, the next day you got the other guy, like Lance being the leader next. When did that happen?
Well, and also the thing is that like what pissed me off is that they say to be continued on the rare things, and then they wouldn't show the second episode. Like, you motherfuckers! Like you would get so mad. I think that's why I kind of don't like TV because of that, because it did that to me as a kid.
But new Voltron, I really enjoyed it because it better writing, like you said, but it was good. Then with the point that you said, oh, here's a gay couple there. Shiro, the main leader or whatever, towards the end of the show, they made him gay, but he wasn't flamboyant gay. He just happened to be gay. Like you found out he had like a husband on Earth still, or something like that. So he wasn't flamboyant. Oh, he's gay because he got a husband, whatever. But it was like a shocker, but it wasn't like, oh my god, he's gay. He's like, oh, he's gay. Okay, cool. He's still badass with a sword and all kind of stuff still.
Yeah. I mean, it's like there's definitely gay culture, and then there's whatever, it's like, but it doesn't mean like, oh, gay culture is like what gay people really are. It's just that's kind of what formed. And again, I'm not gay, so I'm not going to go into that whole etymology of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that I know that are gay would probably answer that better than me, but that's my observation. And even like gay guys that I've talked to, there's like a whole world of things in their own demographic too, that they've talked about. So it's like it's pretty kind of crazy too. It's like it's interesting. Like it's like funny if you look in a group and you're like, oh, well, they're all supposed to be solid together, and then they got their own little fucking bitch fights with each other in every community. It's like they go like with the Asian community, they're like, oh, they all stand in solidarity. It's like kind of, And I have a friend like that's in the Middle East, and he says, yeah, all Arabs. Yeah. They kind of do have jokes about that too. So yeah.
In Steven Universe, I never watched that, but I seen a report a girl did on the show, and apparently all the princesses or gems, whatever they are, they're different parts of the spectrum of autism.
I heard about that actually. I wasn't really sure about that because it was done third hand. It wasn't like said by Rebecca Sugar, oh, this is about autism.
So I thought that was cool. So I never watched the show, but I seen the girl talk about it, and it had good points. So, but if it is true, that's cool. But if not, I mean, hey, it's there, and they can put strings to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how autism is. Like I'm glad to be in an era where mental illness and conditions are accepted for the most part. Like, okay, that's part of you, that's who you are. And we're in a time now where dealing and understanding them is at an all-time high. Like it's good, and like I have friends that are paranoid schizophrenic, they got their meds down, and it's like weird. Like one of the things, like if I was eating pizza at a pizza parlor, and I looked up at the thing, and you know how they show medical commercials, right? And one of them was like, when I live with paranoid schizophrenia, it's like now I can be productive. And he's like going to get the record store, going out with his friends. It's perfectly fucking normal. And I'm thinking, wow, just like 10, 20 years ago, if you were diagnosed, you were fucked. Like you would not be considered, you would be having a kind of a functional life, but you weren't going to have a life. It was like, I'm just going to drug you down to stop the hallucinations. Yeah. So I'm kind of glad I live in a time where something like that used to make you not, it was like a literal living death sentence. And you actually get better,
Yep.
So it's good. It's like you can live a quality life, which I'm happy about. So
my last question of this segment, since you grew up in the Asian family or whatever, you're raised a certain way, so you probably never thought it, but when did you find out that you are a nerd?
Oh, my parents are nerd royalty.
Yes, I'm saying. So when did you find out that you're a nerd, or alternatively different from them?
Well, it's funny because it's like I came from like geek royalty too, because I guess there's nerd and geek. There's like little etymologies about that. One of them is that nerd, like my dad is a mechanical engineer, and he was his generation designed all the nuclear reactors and infrastructure.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, and then my mom has a degree in physical organic chemistry, a master's in it. So I'm kind of like, I just am by default. Like, but my family is very good with numbers. My sister does financial analysts and web traffic and all that, so she's very good. I didn't get that, which was kind of shitty because people say, oh, it's cool though. Your parents are good at math, right? And I said, no, because they asked what's wrong with me, because I'm more the artist, the more creative type. But as I said, it's not that I can't get numbers, but I can get things going on. It's like I can understand the concept. Like if you go in physics, I'm kind of shitty with the equations, but if you talk to me in concepts, I can understand it. Okay.
But
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So how do you feel about you doing comics?
Um, at first they were kind of like they didn't know if I should be an artist. Stop fucking around. And then they said, well, you're really talented, so we're gonna go and have you do it, but do it our way. But they weren't artists. And then I wanted to do it my way, and there was some conflict there. And now it's like, oh, well, do you make money off your art and everything? It's like, okay, whatever. And I worked through that. And now it's like, okay, you're happy, you're doing shit with your career, and that's good.
Oh,
They
so
long
pretty straightforward.
I don't think, see, the thing is, I think it's kind of shitty that people say, I'm an artist, so I should be poor. It's like, there's plenty of people that have actually made a good living. So probably stop with that belief. Like, it's like, I'm a writer, I'm poor. It's like, okay, there's more than one way to do it. Like, stop. Like, it kind of irritates me. Like, this misconception. It's like, or like, I can't believe this still exists. Like, when people say, well, I work at a full-time job, or I don't work on my artwork like 24/7 and have a living. I'm not an artist. Like, focus on the end point of working for an artist on living, and do what you need to do, and eventually you'll get there. You need to build up your reputation. It takes time. That's why I get a little annoyed with people when they start bitching about that. It's like going stop limiting yourself, people. There's more than one way to do something.
Okay. Well, we're finna go into that by people who annoy you. So my next segment, is called the hotkeys, which is a double meaning term, in comics, it'd be hotkeys, be key issues, where an artist or a writer get on a project, or a character get introduced, or nowadays a storyline becomes a movie. You want to get them issues because they'd be worth more eventually. And as well in music, there are buttons on the turntables with DJs that they'll press to cue up certain songs and trigger them during certain points of the event or the party or whatever to turn people up. So in this segment, we got different questions, that I formulated throughout this interview, and that you gave to me that you want to talk about, so people can get some substance to this interview. So we're gonna get into that, and which is so I read through I guess your bio or whatever, and you said you generally seem like a pissed off person. So like, what things will people do or issues that just piss you off?
Well, I don't know if it's any one issue.
Or ignore you. Yeah.
Well, it's like, it's funny because it's like, it used to be super personal with me, like just personal situations that made me mad, like people being assholes and being shitty, right? In general, and there's a lot of them, and I could explain a lot of them. But I think lately what it is sometimes what annoys me, what I've been calling attention to, is sometimes how people act on the internet, because they don't understand how important that is and how hypocritical they look. So, for example, like, you have somebody that rants on about body positivity, but will go on an Instagram of a chubby girl and start yelling at her about her clothing choices. It's like, wait a minute, or they scream about don't bully, but then they'll bully the fuck out of someone.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So with like, I think you said it previously, but like things you write in your comic Demon Bitch, do you find most of that context on the internet, or is it out in the streets? So where do you get most of that stuff from?
Both, everywhere. Because there are times where I've seen people like where they go on and on about how to be a good artist, and then they're found tracing everything and being lazy as hell. It's like, okay, no, Or there's like one, like when they had the Comics Broke Me movement, and a poor fellow died. I did not know him personally, but some of my friends did, and it was really kind of sad because they said he was a really sweet person. You probably heard about the Comics Broke Me stuff. And
I heard about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it did bring up some real issues in the industry that you have to address, like the poor payment system, the non-payment system, the work and the hours and all this other stuff. But then I noticed that off this poor fellow's death. Now, granted, if people want to express their condolences and grief, they have every right to do so. Okay? That's not what I'm shitting on about. But what I noticed is that there were all these people on top of it jumping on this poor guy's corpse, literally, and making it into a soapbox, saying, oh yeah, that's so bad. And it would you could tell how they were talking. They were making it just about themselves. They didn't have the consideration for him, what he went through, and his family. It's like you could tell. And they were doing it because it was trending. And I found that kind of sick. And around the same time, you know, how the Titanic explorers went down, and then some people were lost, and a bunch of Pakistani refugees were lost at sea near Greece. And it was like kind of shocking to me where people were screaming, you pick one that's the worst. And I'm going like, they're all bad. They involve the death of somebody, of people that didn't deserve it. Like, stop, you know? And it got to a point where it just got super mean and disrespectful of the dead that I just said, wow, I have to write about this, because I don't do what's trending. I find it kind of cheap and lame. Like, I keep abreast of it, like what's trending in the world, to kind of have an idea of where the world's direction is. But other than that, I don't like it when people jump on it, and especially when somebody dies and makes it all about themselves. Like the point of that, the person that passed away, you need to focus on them and their family and their friends, not this me. And I saw that, and it was disgusting to me. And so I did a couple comics about it. I showed this one where Shipbird and Demon Bitch are taking selfies of themselves in front of a coffin, in front of a person in a casket, which actually I noticed some regular people do. I have no idea why, but I wouldn't want to. But some people do that. I mean, I kind of find it weird to myself, but they were taking pictures like, and I'm morbid, but I mean, I feel it weird to do that at a funeral, but they're doing that. And it's like, I'm so glad he died. Like, kind of like, hey, he gives me more attention. Fuck him. You know, and there was another one where they're wrestling over whose time is it to stand on the body. So I drew 2 cartoons because I was just about it, because I was like, wow, this poor guy died. And what was even funnier is that with the comics that broke me, some of the lower, like the more independent publishers came out and said, yeah, the comics that broke me, blah, 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 and da. You know, that's so terrible and awful. Our industry is not ethical. But then when you scratch below the surface, you find out those very same companies treated their companies worse than the companies that treated people bad, you know, if not worse. Like, they really screwed them over. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, well, people like the bigger companies, you know, they have a right, they're excused. No, they're not. But it's like, don't throw stones in glass houses, guys. And so I make fun of that. So I'll bring that up. And it's funny because one guy told me, it's like, essentially you kill an elephant and you put it on a plate and you serve it to everybody in the room. So I'm going to say what people are afraid to say, or people don't want to say. It's like, I'll say it. Fuck you. Like, this needs to be said.
Yeah, that's another thing. You know, I met you previously. You probably don't remember. I met you. Comic Madness had something, and then we was on there with like 15 other comic book people. I hate those things. But I don't know. I just hate. I don't know. I don't see the. I mean, I see the point, but I hate those things. It's like 15 other creators just all on the podcast, just randomly talking. I just hate those things. But
personally, I think with stuff like that, if you get past a certain point, you can't give the person enough time, depending on how much time it is.
Yeah.
Like, if it's an hour, that's going to be way too many people for one. I can't remember, but it was something like that.
Yeah, but definitely, I remember you because your mouth is pretty filthy.
I don't feel bad about that. I know what you mean.
But just the way you talk, I feel like you're very comfortable with it, and people on the show were also very comfortable with you speaking that way. And I think I've seen something else with you as an interview, and I guess now talking to you, I guess you are known for that, being the demon bitch or whatever. But you feel very comfortable talking that way. And while you saying that, you say things that people don't want to say or too scared to say. But what point in time you felt that was okay, that said, okay, let me say it, and nothing happened? Because and myself, like, I want to say a lot of things, but since I'm in comics, I pull back from saying a lot of stuff because I was like, because all these people is just tender, and I say something and they get so offended, they want to say all kind of stuff. So I fall back on a lot of things. But recently I opened up a lot more, but somebody like you just go off. So when you get to that point that you knew it was okay just to, I guess, be yourself.
Well, I think, you know, we're taught on a certain level, and it's kind of shitty sometimes how it's done. Like with parents, they will use shame to like teach their kids, and society does its own form of shaming and self-limitation. I would agree on that. But the thing is that you as a person, and I'm not saying if there's a point of using shame, like if your parent is if your kid is shoplifting, obviously you don't want them to do it anymore, so you kind of shame them, like stopping a fucking thief or something like that. I mean, that's one thing. But shaming, like just saying, oh, you're ugly, nobody's going to want to be around you, that's fucked up. Like you don't want to. I'm just using two very hyperbolic things. I think you have to get over self-shame and self-criticism and that voice in your head that says like, oh, nobody's going to like what you say. And there are times like you shouldn't open your mouth and talk about shit. Like if you have something, I've noticed that if you feel intuitive, that voice is never cruel. Like, especially in situations you shouldn't, it's going like, no, you shouldn't. Or if it's in a dangerous situation, it doesn't hype you up. It like just says, do not let this person near you whatsoever. Like it'll talk to you in that voice. But if it's shaming you and making you feel afraid and all that, it's like chances are it's not, it's your own insecurities. But it's okay to push past it when you feel comfortable, and you have to ease into it. And for me, I think it was like after being sick, I just was kind of like, I've got only X amount of years to live. I don't know how long. I know I've got a lot of years, but you know what? That's too few. And I'm kind of getting tired of all this bullshit that people do. It's like, I'm getting tired of this bullshit or that bullshit, or I've started to not care about things. It's like, one of the things that people have said to me is like, well, I should like, or so-called friends going like, oh, I don't care about that. But then they turn around and bitch about the exact same thing you were talking to them about. So it's like this hypocrisy. It's like, I kind of get past the hypocrisy too. I'm just like, I don't care. Like, it's sort of like, even if it hurts my feelings, I say I don't care because on a deeper level, it's like, this really has no importance to me. But the fact that you've hurt my feelings is fucked up. So I shouldn't care about what she had to say. It has no importance or bearing on me. But it hurts my feelings. Like, you can be that way too. We get in this thing like, oh, well, that person said mean thing to you. Oh, you care, they won. It's like, that's bullshit. It's just like, yeah, he made me feel pissed off. I have every right to feel pissed off. But I also can feel like I don't give a fuck about this person too, because what they said made me not give a fuck about them.
Yeah. Two things. Definitely, like, since getting in comics, I try to go in these Facebook groups and whatever, and like since anime and manga's popular, I try to go in the anime groups and still like get fans like, hey, look at me, I'm making content for y'all, then get them, then put them on my books. But certain things hit with them, and I'm like, what? Like it just pisses me off to the point that like I don't want to approach them no more because it is so crazy. I watch anime and manga, but it's a thing over here called MomoCon. Me and my girl, we dressed up and went there. But by going there, I found out that, or I not found out, but it made me not like anime and manga like the way I used to, just because I realized it just like wasn't for me. If that makes sense. And I guess more of the American stuff is for me. If that makes sense. So like
your cup of tea, really.
Yeah, so like go Dragon Ball Z, Hunter x Hunter, Death Note, all that stuff, that's cool. But like the skewed stuff or the deeper things, you go down the rabbit hole, you find out they either like making, like, I guess not making fun of Americans, but it's really like their culture, But we got so much American stuff that's our culture that we try to I guess make all this anime manga stuff because it's popular, but it's not really our stuff. And we make this stuff and we go in these groups like, look, I make manga, I make anime, and the fans who are already fans of anime don't want it because they say, oh, it's American, or it's not made it by a Japanese studio, this, that, third. But if we just make our own stuff, it'd be more accepted. And I realized that going through that thing, I was like, wow, that's crazy. We try so hard to make all this Asian, Japanese stuff, but we live in America, so all our jokes, our culture won't even translate to manga the correct way, even be popular. So that's when I realized that, and it changed my mindset. But going to these groups now, I'm going to these groups, and I just make fun of these people because they try so hard, just like the race swapping stuff or the gender swapping stuff with other characters, or oh, this is Goku if he was in the hood or black. But no, that don't make sense. Or they're like, oh, this Asian character is really like a One Piece. One Piece is great. The creator, he did do it, but it took a while for him to speak out for it. But each character in One Piece is a different race.
Yeah.
But
They're all different.
huh?
I said they're all different. I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah, they're a different race, and I guess since now the TV show came out on Netflix, people are saying, hey, well, how come Luffy talks this way and this person, their voice is different? Why? Because, and they complain about it. Because I guess they want it to be just a stereotypical, Japanese person talking, but Luffy talks like a Brazilian because he's a Brazilian, and each character down the line talks in their native accent, but people complain about it, and that's wild. So it's get me, I don't know, it's crazy. But your book, so is it comic strips or is it comic book pages? How is it set up?
It's like a one panel to a couple panel shots. Like, so it's a one page comic. Yeah. So it's like
a family circle?
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of like one of those things like Family Circle. Like, it's not really a strip. A lot of the time it's like a one shot or a commentary. And they kind of evolved that way because I tried doing comic panels in a page, and it would be just like that story that concluded. But it turned out, oh, it's this,
So, or do you put these out? Let's say I say something in this interview, then you like, I'm gonna write a comment back him. So, do you put those out just like you gonna put it on your Facebook, Instagram, whatever, or you keep doing it to you the collection and do a Kickstarter like you do now for
both. I do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like I release it weekly, usually at 7:00 in the morning, and then I spread it around, and then I get enough, and then I make a book out of it. I mean, I put other ads in there too, but that's it.
So I see creators do that with webtoons, and I guess you the first creator I talked to that do it this form. But how do you even receive a profit from that? Let's say I'm a fan of your work. Let's say I'm a fan of your work, and I'm getting them every week, whatever, from you for free. What makes me translate and say, okay, I've been reading for free, or I get them for free from you already? What makes me want to buy the book itself?
Well, I get fan art from different artists. Like I have the one in this book, Mog Park, and I have other ones like called Mog. There was Mog Park. There was Lawrence Hubbard. So I get that, and so they advertise it for that. And then I put in sketches. I put in other extras in their book, in the book too, because like let's say with the other things like DC, when they finally get a graphic novel together after a story arc, right? They don't just put the plot piece together. They'll actually add other things like sketches and things like that. So this one will have I feature 6 prints that you can get through the Kickstarter, but it's also it's not only the cartoons, but also my sketches. You can get merchandise from it as well. So that's you can get a print of that. There's actually one original art, which is basically Connie's right there in the terms of the actual original piece that you can buy. And that's Mog Park.
Talking about what, this one right here?
No, well, that one is Lawrence Hubbard. That's real deal. You'll scroll down, but yeah. But that's right here. Licensed by My Little Pony. No, that's not it too. But you can get prints for these artists as well, signed prints, as well as they're in the book as well. And that's Mog Park. She was the illustrator of Game of Thrones.
Okay. Hence the tattoo, right?
Yeah, I know. I think it's kind of funny. Now I realize it, but I don't know if that was purely intentional, but it is funny. And then there's Philip Jin. He did that for me as a piece, and it was really funny too. It's like,
okay.
And they love the character.
Did you reach out? Yeah, I'm about to ask you. I'm about to ask you about that. Did these artists or creators reach out to you and for the artwork, or you did them? So how'd you receiving this artwork from them?
Oh, sometimes it's a computer. Sometimes they give me the actual piece themselves. That's off Pearl, but a lot of it's digital. That's the original piece plus it's a print.
Okay. So
And this one is a kid's
You've
book.
been doing this. Yeah, I'll get into that next. But what's my question? Train of thought gone. Yeah, you've been doing this since 2016, right?
2015, 2016, yeah. Like, at least for Demon Bitch.
So, is Demon Bitch a spinoff of Personal Monsters?
It's part of the Personal Monsters universe because I was mad at a bunch of assholes, so she kind of was like probably the most logical spinoff for that.
Okay. So, so what came first, Personal Monsters or Demon Bitch?
Personal Monsters did.
Okay. And that's the same concept, just different things you see and you just draw up?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you still produce that too?
Yeah, I still do that. I mean, that's going to be as part of the add-ins as well. I mean, it's available for purchase now, but you can actually do that as one of the add-ins in both PDF and electronic form.
Okay. So going back to the profanity thing, I listened to the video and you said you have been doing children's books. So do you have children's books you have worked on?
There's ones that I worked with other writers. So I worked with one from the Olive House. There's another one I'm working on, but right now I haven't given the okay to release the name of it yet. She's talked about it, but I kind of want to wait until she gives me the okay.
Okay. So what you doing the Mr. F word and Demon B book?
Yeah.
Would it be Would it be like the same stuff, but like kids is fine, irritating?
Well, it's actually funny because like it's a story about Mr. F word, and we know what Mr. F word is, but I never say his name. But the point about Mr. F word is that you can't say his name because bad things happen, and he's really upset about it because no one can say his name. Then he realizes he can accept that with Demon Bitch's help, and he realizes by himself that not only is he actually worthy to he's really important. He's just realized also Demon Bitch is terrible. So it's sort of like just because somebody purports to help you, they don't. Like you did all the work yourself.
So that's the same type of things, like different one-shot comics, or it's gonna be an actual like book?
Oh, it's an actual book.
Okay. This is like a one shot, or you gonna see how it goes? If people like it, you continue.
I'm gonna see how it goes. It kind of looks kind of cool, so I'm gonna see how it goes.
Okay. So, what was it? The cat, right? You go a lot of cons, and so how is it at cons with your books? Like, do people recognize it, or when people see it and they like, how do you reel them in with your artwork or your story?
Well, I just say, do you want to? It's like I write books that are angry and mean and make people laugh, and it's like going, and then I say I draw them too. And I hand them the book. I tell them a little bit about each book. So I do one called Sepulcher, which is actually not at the Demon Bitch universe. It's just one that I've done, and go from there.
Okay. Back to the cap thing. Is that the cap thing a new thing, or is something that's been around?
It's been around since I think '77.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah. So I mean, how did you get a part of it?
I was a member for like 5 years, and then I decided, I guess I'll just be president, and then I just did it.
Okay. Has it helped you better as a creator being a part of the program?
Being a creator is part of the program. Yeah.
No. Has it made you a better creator being a part of it?
I guess I have. I'm not sure about. Oh, excuse me. I guess I'm not sure. I'm not sure of that. I guess so. I don't know. I mean, I can gauge that it's made me a better creator in terms of getting to know people and exercising networking skills and stuff that a lot of creators say, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm an introvert or whatever the fuck. You got to like talk to people. That's how you get stuff done. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's why I noticed a lot too. I probably had a couple weird interviews where I could tell the creators like that. But definitely going out and seeing these creators, I've realized a lot of them are the true introverted nerd people, but they do good work. And I've seen at cons that they can't project themselves out to sell books and whatever, and they got good artwork or a good story, but they can't formulate the sales pitch or get that person who's looking at the stuff in closer to buy the book. And versus somebody who's maybe charismatic and, out there can sell that shitty book, and has no problem, which is, I see it now. It's funny because I guess it's part of the culture, I guess. But because I've been doing my book since 2019, and I'm tabling my first real con Saturday, but I have never been to a convention till this year, so I'm seeing all this stuff, because I've been just reluctant to go to a convention because I thought I wasn't prepared. But many creators told me that as long as I have one book or even some artwork, I can sell at a convention. But I'm just people seeing out and seeing how different creators work and stuff, and I've seen how some of them are very introverted. The Ringo Award. What year did you win that?
2018, I think. That's
2018.
Yeah, that's the year I won it.
For people who are not familiar with Ringo Award, what is it?
Well, I wasn't at the time either, because it was funny because I was staff, and then the editor Molly said we won one. I'm like, cool, and so I went online, and what it is that Mike Weinringo died back in, I think, 1995, 1996. I think his aorta tore off essentially, and he died of blood loss. And he did a lot of inking for the Flash, I think, and Green Lantern for DC. So he's really well known for that. But since he died so suddenly, they made an award in his name. So it's done by the Baltimore Comic Con. It's kind of like an Emmy or Golden Globe in the comic world. Like I would say the Eisner is like the Oscar, and then like the rest are kind of Emmys and Golden Globes. Because I think there's the Inkpot Award, and maybe I'm showing ignorance, but I think it's kind of on that same level too as the Ringo Award. So like the Ringo Award is named after Mike Weinringo, but it's like denoted like best selling in this category and whatnot.
Okay, that's cool. Your style for Demon Bitch, I guess it's simplistic. I guess I don't know. But
messy and crazy. That's what I like to call it.
What made you choose that?
It just fit the drawing. I just wanted to draw it all fucked up.
All right, because I mean, to me, it gave me a Real Monsters vibe.
Yeah, I
remember that show?
Yeah, it's funny because they say that. I haven't watched the show, but I've seen it around. But I've seen it around, but it's not. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of weird because I kind of think it's like the Korean manhwa style in a way.
Okay. So I guess I'm gonna go back to your Kickstarter. What can I guess pitch it, or like what can people like who seen this interview and not know anything about this? What can they expect really out of it? This is volume 4, 5.
This is volume 4.
So I mean, I guess it's volumes. So can they do a catch up on it? I guess get the other 3.
Sure. Yeah, you can go ahead and get the other books in either PDF or signed form. So you can get them both in signed paperback and all that. Okay.
And so what is this a yearly collection of them, or what is it?
Like every year I release like a new book.
Okay. Is there any kind of page number or anything?
I'm sorry?
Is it any like a page number? Is it like a 200-page book, or?
Generally they kind of vary, but it's usually like 90 to 100 pages. Like Triggered is especially thick just because Triggered I just did it like over like online. So I mean when we were all in lockdown, so I like had a lot I just worked on it. I just put out a whole body of work. Whereas the other one was like usually they're about 90 to 100 pages.
Okay. Fully colored and everything, right?
Yeah. For the most part, yeah, they're fully colored.
Okay. Do you do Patreon and anything like that?
I do have Patreon. It's kind of an effort though, so I'm kind of like I don't know about Patreon, but I've done other stuff too, like a Patreon on Global Comics and all that. So yeah.
Okay. Um, I know I'm gonna butcher the name of the studio, but what, HORATARO Studio? What is that?
HORATARO Studios, HORATARO. Yeah.
Yeah, what is that?
It's like Horangi and Tora Tora Tora, so it's like Korean and Japanese. I'm not Japanese, but I just thought it was kind of a nice little combo. Because Korean's
It
like,
sounds cool.
yeah, yeah,
And that's your company?
yeah, that's my company.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. So, oh, what was it? Okay, I'm going through something I didn't read.
Oh,
What's this right here? This page.
that's the forward by Stephen Prince. Stephen Prince does Monster Matter, and since he has kids, I asked him to do the forward of the Demon Bitch book.
Okay. All right. Um. If somebody missed the Kickstarter, is there some way they can like purchase the book, or did it have to wait till the Kickstarters come out?
Well, for this one, like for the other books, yeah, and the older stuff, yeah, but it would be available on my store on HORATORstudios.com. There's a main page that
Okay.
I have a store at. But for the Kickstarter items, when it funds, it's like you have to go and get that done right there. It's like you have to do it
Okay.
through the
Okay.
Kickstarter because I have to fulfill the Kickstarter orders first.
All right. And it's still pretty early, so no stretch goals yet, right?
No, no. I'm over at 3,000. I haven't checked the number, but it's like I'm hoping to get that in a bigger mode today.
No way. Yeah. Throw a 3,000. That's a good little chunk.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I asked for 6, so hopefully I can get that up to 6 very soon.
No way. Okay. Um. That's all. Is that all my questions? Yeah, that's all I got for this segment.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go to my last segment of the show, which is called "Digging the Crates." Um, it's another double meaning term. Another comic book related one. Digging the crates. To get the old Teen Titans or X-Men books. You enjoy. You want to keep. Or in music, you go through the vinyls or CDs to pick out them songs that you like. So I'm gonna comb through, this interview and pick out something, and ask you about it. So I'm gonna give you 2 questions. So, well, 3 questions because the first question will be double question. So, you spoke highly about the creator of Simpsons a lot during this interview. So, if you, I guess, was able to be in the writer's room or able to write or produce an episode of his works, what series would you pick and what kind of episode would you do?
The thing of the mind would be probably Futurama. It would probably be ridiculously stupid. Maybe it would be like
Mm-hmm.
Demon Bitch tries to go and like take over the world yet again. And since she's a demon and immortal, she does the same stupid shit she does. Like she just finds new ways to do it because it's the future. So there you go. It might be also if she did another episode and it was like Disenchanted, where it's more in like the old days. So she's been causing problems for like eons now and being just stupid and not really doing anything or going anywhere.
Okay. Okay. And if you had a choice of to make your series animated, like what would it be like geared towards? Because I guess Simpsons are kind of mild, I guess, and I guess let's put it on the thing. Let's say Simpsons is on the mild tangent, and I don't know, is South Park really that bad anymore? Let's talk about South Park in early 2000s.
Yeah, I think it would be more like.
Well, like, oh, okay. Well, would it be like something quick, like one season, or you would try to drag it out as long as you could?
Well, that would be funny if it drug out like for years. That would be hilarious. I mean, I kind of view it as a joke because it would kind of be an episode really about nothing. And it's like, I know people are like, well, it has to be about something. It's like, it really isn't. That you're kind of like being drawn into the meaningless of Demon Bitch's life.
Yeah. Well, apparently, was it Seinfeld? It's about nothing at all.
Yeah, it's just about 3 people that are actually kind of assholes and they just like kind of live their life in this really weird, scroungy way. But yet they actually make a good
Yeah.
living because they have apartments and shit. But it's just They're just kind of stupid.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's all I got. That's the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very
And once again, if people listen to this interview later on after the Kickstarter or whatnot, where can they follow you and to get some of your works or just follow you in your journey?
Well, you can follow me at HORATAROstudios.com. Just that's like the easiest way because it has all my social media, but everything is either HORATARO Studios or Demon Bitch. So if you see Demon Bitch Official in Twitter, I'm on X, well, X now, but I'm on HORATARO Studios all across the board. And then Demon Bitch kind of varies because it's sort of like, oh, well, but then there's Demon Bitch Official on X, and then there's Demon Bitch Official on X, and I am Demon Bitch on sorry, got that confused. Demon Bitch Official on IG, and I am Demon Bitch on X. So that's what's going on with that. But you can go on my website and find them all.
All right, cool. And once again, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I don't know. The view, he just never got out of bed. But shout out to my guest, Christie Shinn, for coming on and showing her work and about people who just piss her off. And make sure y'all check out that Kickstarter and support it. Demon Bitch. You know, you can make it chuckle, make it laugh out of work, and follow her on everything she does. And if you want to follow my co-host, even though he never shows up for the show, follow him at Legacy View on all social media, or purchase the book at legacyview.com. If you want to follow me at SPECKS706. And if you want to be on the show, hit us up at chillonthegreenbox or chillonthegreenbox@gmail.com. And we're out.